This is a story of a man who was way ahead of his time, a man of great courage, conviction, and foresightedness. He created a strong Azad Hind Fauj outside India, which was recognized by 11 countries, including Japan, China, Thailand, Burma, Italy, Germany, and the Philippines. He was considered as His Majesty's greatest opponent. He created a special women battalion in the army called Rani Jhansi Regiment, Azad Hind Radio, Rashtriya Azad Bank, and their own currency. He gave us the slogan Jai Hind. He was someone who don't wait things to happen, but rather make things happen. One of the brightest stars of freedom fighters on the horizon of Mother India, none other than Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji was born on 23rd of January 1897 in Cuttack to parents Janakinath Bose and Prabhavati Bose. He was ninth in the family of 14 children. He was admitted to Protestant European School and then shifted to Ravenshaw Collegiate School. After securing second position in matriculation, he got admitted to the Presidency College. He studied briefly there before being expelled for assaulting Professor Otten for his anti-India comments. Later, he joined Scottish Church College at the University of Calcutta and passed in BA in 1918 in philosophy. Netaji went to study in England in the Fitzwilliam College, Cambridge. He came fourth best in the Indian Civil Services examination but refused to work for the British Empire and returned to India. After returning to India, Netaji was very disappointed to see the plight of fellow countrymen. He organized protests and strikes against Britishers. For his anti-British stand, he got arrested. For the next many years, he was in and out of the prison. His health deteriorated in prison, and in 1933 he left to Austria for his treatment of stone in his gallbladder. While writing his autobiography, he hired Emily Schenkel as his secretary. Both fell in love and got married. Even in Austria, he held meetings and tried to garner support for the Indian freedom struggle. From Vienna, Netaji embarked toward the journey to Berlin to get support from Nazi Germany, headed by Adolf Hitler. Netaji held meetings with top Nazi officials, but Hitler was not interested. Hence, he didn't get any support from Germany. After returning to India, he joined Indian National Congress and rises to become Congress President in 1938 and 39. In one of his fiery speeches, he said, India is going to be free. Our struggle is no doubt a non-violence, but even a non-violent struggle demands an army, an organization, and a machinery. This created a huge uproar in Congress, whose freedom struggle was completely non-violence. Due to differences of opinion with Gandhiji, he left the Congress in 1939. After leaving Congress, he created a new political party, the Forward Bloc. Mahatma Gandhi was the biggest critic of Netaji because of his ideology of getting freedom through violence. There are 2 points of Gandhiji we would like to discuss. First one is all his life Gandhiji taught a lesson of non-violence, and during the partition more than 10 million people dies in communal riots, fighting amongst each other. Secondly, last words of Mahatma Gandhi were Hey Ram. However, Lord Rama had to fight against the evil Ravana. There is no way Lord Rama had defeated the evil Ravana by non-violence. Netaji's vision to liberate India was not violent but was a crusade for which Lord Krishna gave lecture to Arjuna in the battlefield. Second World War had started. Netaji believed that this was the right time to put pressure on England to liberate India. Britishers had kept a close eye on Netaji. Now he was the biggest threat than the Gandhians. For his anti-British stand, he was arrested. Netaji started hunger strike in prison. Fearing that he will die as a martyr, he was released but kept under house arrest. Netaji realized the kind of support he needed for the freedom struggle is not possible in India. Under the disguise of Pathan, he escaped and reached Afghanistan. From there, he traveled to Moscow, Russia. His plan was to get some support from Stalin, but Stalin does not trust Netaji. He considered him as a British agent. Netaji does not lose hope and traveled to Berlin. French and Britishers were in conflict with Germany, Japan, and Italy. Netaji thought that this was the right time to take advantage of it. Until now, Hitler was not interested in Netaji. And then came a huge surprise. Germany invaded Russia. The plan was once the Russia is conquered, they will march towards India. Now Netaji was given money and a diplomatic status. In Germany, he was given the title Netaji, the leader. He received an office, Free India Center, and a staff of more than 30 people. From here, Netaji broadcast his message to India. Netaji's next plan was to raise the army who can challenge the Britishers. He set his eyes on the British Indian Army. He believed that the 2 million Indians serving the British Army are instrumental in the colonial control world over. In the battlefield of North Africa, Netaji's vision took a dangerous turn against the Britishers. In 1941, 32,000 British troops were taken prisoners by Nazis. Among them, 10,000 were Indian. Annaberg, south of Berlin, was the arrival point of POWs. 10,000 British Indian soldiers arrived there. They were specifically separated from their British comrades. Netaji gave visit to the camp and asked them, instead of fighting for Britishers, they must fight for their own motherland. His inspirational speech cast a magic spell on the soldiers. Netaji bring Hindu, Muslim, Sikh and Christian under one umbrella with the sole motive to free India. Unfortunately, things doesn't go as planned. Germans face heavy losses in Russia. It seems unlikely that the Germans will be victorious in Russia and move towards India. Now Netaji was looking for a new ally. Geographically, Japan was more close to India than Germany. Japan had attacked Singapore and inflicted heavy casualties to the Britishers. Japan had captured 1,30,000 soldiers, out of which 10,000 were Indians. Netaji senses an opportunity and met the Japanese ambassador in Berlin. It was decided that Netaji will be taken in German submarine 180 to be transported to another Japanese submarine. Finally, Netaji made a safe passage to Tokyo. From Tokyo, he was taken to Singapore, where he was greeted by captured 10,000 Indian soldiers. Netaji motivated them and urged them to fight for the liberation of Mother India. His famous slogan was, "Give me blood and I will give you freedom." तुम मुझे खून दो, मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. Now, with the support of Japan and Indian soldiers, he was ready to take on Britishers head on. But destiny took another wrong turn. With the defeat of Germany and the surrender of Japan, Azad Hind Fauj does not got as much help as expected. After defeating the British army in Kohima, they marched through Moirang before being annihilated by the British army. More than half of the soldiers died and the rest surrendered. Three generals, Shahnawaz Khan, P.K. Sehgal, and Gulbakh Singh, were imprisoned. This massive onslaught by Britishers ended the campaign of Azad Hind Fauj. Court hearings were started among the captured soldiers. There was a huge uproar in the country and also among the British Indian soldiers. Despite of winning the Second World War, Britain's foundation was shaken completely. They realized with this discontent among the masses, they are not in position to rule India anymore, and at last they decided to free India. Hence Netaji played a pivotal role in the liberation of India. Netaji's death is shrouded in mystery. There are three different tales of his demise. The first one is that the plane did not crash and it made a safe landing to Russia, where he was imprisoned for the rest of his life. The Indian government of that time was aware of this, but did not do anything to free Netaji. Second one is of Gumnami Baba, who lived in UP Faizabad till 1985, and many believe was Netaji himself. Gumnami Baba was fluent in Hindi, Bangla, and English. When he died, Netaji's childhood photos were found in his room. However, the most authentic is the report from the Shahnawaz Committee, which was formed to unravel the death mystery of Netaji. It states that after facing defeat in war, it was decided that Netaji should be sent to Russia to seek help for war against Britain. Netaji was traveling with Colonel Habibul Rahman. The ill-fated flight got crashed, and Netaji suffered third-degree burn, which leads to his demise. After partition, Habibul moved to Pakistan, and he came to India and gave this statement to Shahnawaz Committee. On 18th August 1945, the great son of the soil, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, died. His ashes are still there in the temple of Taipei. Netaji's daughter Anita Pfaff wishes that his ashes should be bring back home and be dispersed in river Ganga. Netaji's life will always be a source of inspiration for the generations to come. He gave us the belief and self respect which we were lacking under the regime of British rule. He taught us a very important lesson of life that it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. Jai Hind.